everyone, hope you're doing well. Right, during the summer, close season, you've got to come up with video ideas and you've got to get either A, desperate, or B, come up with a new series. I'm doing a little bit of both. I'm winging it, but it's a new series completely for the summer, and I'll be continuing it during the Euros. I'll be taking a look at all the West Ham players involved, as well as some players that we're linked to, because some players we get rumoured that we're after, I've never really heard of, or this is the best chance to see them. Prime example in the England game, and judged them over 90 minutes in a match. As you know, I will not watch YouTube clips. I do not like watching the highlight reels. I prefer to watch them in football, 90 minutes. Usually, don't get the chance, but the Euros, I get my best opportunity to do just that. Anyway, I'm nervous. Not for this video. I'm nervous. Scotland kick off in just under 5 hours against Czech Republic. Souček and Supal playing, obviously. But crikey, I am nervous for that game. But let's take a look at who was involved over the last 3 days of this festival of football. So Friday kicked off between Turkey and Italy, and there was no one involved. Nobody, not one player. The Welsh took on Switzerland on Saturday, and Kiefer Moore started up front. Now we're linked with Moore towards the end of the season, not so much in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. However, if he continues his goal scoring form or just good performances for Wales over the Euros, expect to see him linked to more Premier League clubs, probably including West Ham United. And I think it sort of ticks a lot of the boxes for the profile David Moyes wants, particularly as an alternative striker, perhaps not the number one target if you like, but if we needed two strikers, he certainly gives us that sort of plan B. He's like a cheaper Chris Wood if you like, and while I don't like the Chris Wood thing, I think I'd prefer Kiefer Moore plus someone else, like whether it be Dakar or Abraham or something. I wouldn't mind that. Now, I didn't see the Wales-Switzerland game, I have to be honest with you. That's the one game I have not watched. But he got his goal, and that's important. He plays a big part in the way the Wales play. Big man up front, has runners off him like Bale and Dan James. I'm looking forward to watching the next Welsh game at the Euros as well. Good result for them on Saturday, and it'll be interesting to see how the likes of Moore continues to play during the tournament. Then Finland took on Denmark, and while Braithwaite isn't someone being linked with recently, we were linked with him a few years ago. I've seen him in bits and pieces since, but I thought he looked really good against Finland actually. Probably the best player on the pitch in terms of ability. When he got the ball, he looked like he was going to make something happen. Caused Finland problem, and I think against a more expansive team, when he had a bit more room, I think he would have probably perhaps even scored, but he certainly tested the Finland goalkeeper a few times, and if Denmark were going to score, it looked like he was going to be involved in some form. But we're not linked with him too much recently, so I'll move swiftly on. Russia took Belgium on Saturday night, and there was no one involved really, no one. But don't worry, I promise you, there is some players to talk about, okay? Especially yesterday, Sunday was jam-packed full of West Ham players and transfer targets. But before I talk about them, just want to talk about one football. Talking about the transfer windows, that's when people do stuff, and you should do stuff today. You should download the OneFootball app. The link is in the description below, and the pinned comment is the completely free app, the number one football app for football fans. Now, that's not their claim. That's my claim. That's a Geo opinion, not a OneFootball opinion, although I'm pretty sure they would suggest it is as well. Get it downloaded today and you won't be disappointed. You can select what you wish to follow. So you can select Euro 2020 as a competition as a whole. Then you can go a bit further and select specific countries to follow as well. So England, Czech Republic, perhaps if you're supporting Sioux fans to Czech over Scotland. Don't do that. It'll upset me, but I'll understand it. Scotland itself, follow the countries, but also follow your club, including West Ham United. Then simply go into the team that you want to know about today. So go into West Ham, keep up to date with the latest news, the transfer rumours, transfer gossip, David Moyes signing his new 3-year contract, who the new assistant manager might be. Then you can go back into your country and have a look there and keep up to date with the injury news, what's going on, the predicted teams for your next game. Then during Euro 2020, during the matches, you can click on the match. It tells you the live scores. You can go into the game itself and see who's scored the goals, who's got booked, what the lineups are for both teams. Everything you need for the Euros is in this app, and it's completely free. So get it downloaded. Link via description and the pinned comments, and keep up to date with everything. Everything. Number one app for football fans. But that's a Geo opinion. I'll tell you what other opinions I've got coming up for you. England against Croatia. Obviously our man Declan Rice was involved in that one. I thought he was really good. Maybe fantastic, maybe a bit too much, but that's because of Croatia. He didn't have enough to do to be fantastic, if you like, but he did his role really good. Minimum first, no errors, and that's why you don't notice him. I think some games players like Declan can just go unnoticed, if you like, for 90 minutes. That's because he's not done anything wrong, rather than doing lots of things right, if that makes sense. You don't notice him because he's doing everything he needs to with minimum fuss. He's clearing up, he was doing his interceptions, his tackles, his reading of the game has massively improved over the last 18 months or something like that. Whenever Croatia came forward, he's in the right space, the right time. One or two times, Croatia didn't really test Pickford very much, but there was that chance for Perisic on the edge of the box. Declan Rice blocked it, looped up in the air for Pickford to just easily catch and stuff. What he did well. But I thought Calvin Phillips was man of the match by a mile. I thought he was England's best player. And when I've seen them two play together for England, I've often thought they're a bit too similar. I thought they were almost in each other's way, and England didn't need two players sitting. You're too good for that. You dominate possession, you usually dominate teams. Especially with the games I've seen, obviously with qualifiers you're usually up against lesser opposition due to the way the seedings works. So when I saw the team sheet yesterday, I was a bit concerned it was a bit too defensive for England. I say concerned, I wasn't concerned at all. I just looked at it and I thought, it's a bit defensive. I wasn't bothered, it doesn't bother me. But I thought the hybrid between them two, I thought Calvin Phillips' roles changed drastically, even from what he plays at Leeds, and I thought he excelled. I thought he was unbelievable in it. But part of that is due to Declan Rice. You take Declan Rice out of that team, Calvin Phillips has then got to drop deeper, and arguably that assist never happens kind of thing. Like I said, I'm not trying to say that Calvin Phillips only played well because of Declan Rice, but this is a West Ham show. I'm going to focus on the West Ham player, that's Declan. I thought he helped Calvin Phillips play the way he did yesterday. Great performance from Declan. Now, so at the other side of the pitch, we have Claleta-Car for Croatia at the centre back. We've been linked with him last summer for around 25 million. Along with the likes of Wesley Fofana and stuff, and nothing happened. We got Craig Dawson in on loan. That's who we got. We're being linked with him again this summer because apparently Marseille are skint. His contract's running down. 13 to 15 million he's apparently available for. And I have to say, going by the limited football I've seen from him in the past, and especially against England, I thought he looked class against England. Actually, I was really impressed by the way he played. Harry Kane was a ghost in that game. You didn't see him at all, and that's partly down to the way England play, the way that Harry Kane, the style that suits Harry Kane wasn't necessarily the way England played yesterday. But sometimes you just got to give credit to the centre backs, because whenever Kane did get the ball, he was there. There was a few fouls he gave away, but the fouls were because he sort of barged into back of Kane and won the header first and stuff like that. But I like that from a centre back. He wasn't giving away stupid fouls. He gave away one with his handball on the edge of the box kind of thing. But he was giving away free kicks on the halfway line for barging Kane in the back and stuff. And I think that's okay. That's almost acceptable to concede free kicks there. I thought he dominated in the air really well. On the ball, he looked good. He looked composed. I was really, really impressed by him, actually. I'll obviously see all the Croatia games in the group stages and stuff, and I hope they only play 3 games in the Euros, and that is it. I don't want them going any further, because I want Scotland to go further, not them. But I'm looking forward to seeing him in his next game, because that's against Czech Republic, not against Scotland. So I'm looking forward to seeing him then. And obviously Jesse Lingard, not involved in the England squad, but he turned up at Barn in Manchester with a Declan Rice t-shirt on and a parrot on his shoulder. I was more impressed that fans were excited the fact that he was wearing a Declan Rice t-shirt, and everyone was just ignoring the fact that the geezer sat in a bar with a parrot on his shoulder watching the England game. Then he did some DJing in the bar and stuff, and then after the game he FaceTime Declan Rice when Declan Rice was, I assume, in the change room, because he still had his shirt on. Jesse's in the bar. A lot of romance emerging there. There's some rumours today that Jesse wants to stay at Manchester, but I'll tell you what, he's sending out all the wrong signals so far, isn't he? But love to see stuff like that. And I know some people might say there's nothing to it. There probably isn't, okay? There probably isn't. But bear in mind that Marcus Rashford plays for England as well, but he didn't rock up with the Marcus Rashford shirt on, did he? He rocked up with a Declan Rice one. So, nice to see. Austria then took on North Macedonia. Good game, I thought, actually. It was a decent enough game. And there's 2 players of interest here. One that we were linked with quite a bit. Kalajdzic started up front for Austria. Really, the giant, he's 6'7", him. He started up front. That was pretty crap, to be honest with you. I was looking forward to watching him, because when I seen him against Scotland, I was very impressed. I thought he was poor yesterday. You watched him and you thought, nothing much to see there kind of thing. And Austria were a bit disappointing. They took the lead, then it was 1-1, and he was one of the players that was sort of contributing to them being disappointing. And then Marko Navic came on, and I have to say it looked good. I thought he was creating a good couple of crosses. Then he got the 3rd goal as well, which it was typical in Navic. He sort of capitalises on a defensive error. rounds the goalkeeper, plays it in, and then goads the North Macedonia goalkeeper in defence and starts insulting their fans. Apparently, what you can look up what he allegedly said to the fans if you want. The word allegedly is key here because you've got to lip read what he said, but that's just typical Arnautovic. And while you sort of have a little chuckle, I still don't want him back at West Ham, and I believe he's away to sign for that Italian side, Bologna or whatever is how you say it. I think he's away to sign for them, but at the minute he's not signed. He's possibly a free agent. He's trying to get out of China for free, but he looked good. He looked good for Austria. I'll give him that one. And then Holland took on Ukraine, or Netherlands to be politically correct. Netherlands took on Ukraine last night. Now, Rice Yarmolenko, he turned into Messi or something. To be fair, it was, if you could sum up Rice Yarmolenko in 90 minutes, that was the performance. He wasn't great. Okay, off the ball, he was a bit slow. On the ball, he looked tricky, he looked decent. You know, he was unfortunate not to receive a penalty in the first half. I thought it was a penalty. He went by Van Aanholt and got brought down. I thought that was a pen, but he didn't get it. But he looked dangerous, and you always had that vibe of Ukraine were going to do something. It was going to come through Yarmolenko. He just has that touch of class that other players don't have. You know what I mean? When you watch football, when you watch teams play, there's just some players, when they get the ball, you just think that guy's got it. Whatever it is, that guy's got it. Yarmolenko is one of those players, and his goal was a screamer. His goal was the most Yarmolenko goal you'll ever see. Cuts inside from the right on his left foot, just bends in the top corner. The goal of the tournament so far. However, we are only 7 games in. We're only 3 days into the tournament, but it's definitely the best one so far. And it's one of them that I say frustrates you, but when you watch it, you're like, we know he can do that. We know Yarmolenko has that ability. He's always had it, but he's just never fit enough for West Ham. That's the problem. And even for Ukraine last night, while he had his goal and he looked good in patches, it was patches. Other times I felt he just wasn't really up to it, if you like. Maybe a bit too harsh, but like I said, taking nothing away from the goal. It was an unbelievable individual strike kind of thing. But this is good news for West Ham. I'm not one of these people. I've already made up my mind with Yarmolenko. I would like to see him move on in the summer, and I think it's the best thing for West Ham. Despite that belter, that's not going to change my mind. If anything, I think this is good news, because I might see some clubs, particularly Ukrainian clubs, look at him and think, actually, he's still got it. We'll take him. We'll give West Ham 3 million, 5 million or whatever. I don't think we'll get much more than that. We'll pay for Yarmolenko. We'll take him in, and that guy can do that. He can win us games kind of thing. And I think it would suit Andre. I think it would suit West Ham, and the purchasing club gets a really good player for cheap. And there was also another couple of players involved in that game that were linked with. Malin, PSV striker, he came off the bench, didn't really see much of him, so hopefully we'll see more of him as the tournament goes on. But Wecker started up front. We've been linked with him quite a bit as well. Decent goal scoring record in the Bundesliga, and I have to say, I thought he looked quite good for the Netherlands as well. He looked good in the friendly. He obviously played against Scotland prior to Euro 2020, but I thought he looked good last night. He's a bit of a handful, big tall striker, but he can play as well. He's not one of these players that is like Keith Moore, with the greatest of respect to him. He's a target man. Bellicante Carroll, you know, he's great in the air, but he's pretty like average at everything else. Whereas I think Weghorst is great in the air, but he's also great on the deck, linking up play, but his sort of creative play, all-round play as well is really, really good too. So he looked good, I have to admit, he looked good. If I was to see us linked with him more and more over the summer, I wouldn't be turning my nose up at it. I'd think, alright, this is interesting. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. That's all the players I need to go through. Obviously today Souček and Soufal are involved against West Ham United, so I'll have a video. I won't do it every day, every 2-3 days. I'll look back at the last 2 or 3 games kind of thing, and hopefully there'll be a few players at West Ham being linked to involved, and a few players at West Ham have involved. I don't think Fabianski will start in goal for Poland. It's hard to report on a goalkeeper's performance though, isn't it? But I'll try, because it's the summer and we need to wing it in a couple of new series. So anyway, I'm going to leave you there. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in a bit.